Live musical interaction and play between a therapist and client.
Oh, so it's more than just listening to music.
No,
It's
they get really involved.
They
quite
play
practical.
music. They like sing together. Or...
Yeah, they use instruments to essentially, I don't know, portray their feelings and emotions. It's a wide range of musical styles and instruments that you can use, including the voice, and the music is often improvised. And also on the site it says that a music therapist needs to have a master's degree in music therapy and must be registered with the Health and Care Professions Council. And the title...
So a master's, so not even just an undergraduate?
No, it's not enough. You've got to have a master's in music therapy specifically, and I'm sure there's not a lot of unis. So the music therapist term is legally protected by law, and only those registered with the HCPC, which is the Health and Care Professions Council, can use it. So you can't just claim yourself as a music therapist just because
I am music therapist, come to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got to work hard and actually earn the title. But there's been quite a lot of research and studies where they study the effects of music on the brain and how it can be used as a rehabilitation method.
Oh.
So in this documentary...
So is it when you say study on the brain, are they looking at chemicals?
Yeah, so they would look at the brain under a scan, then they would give the patient music to listen to.
And then would study what happens?
Yeah.
Wow!
So look at the different activity in the brain, which parts of the brain have more activity than the others, when music are being played. So the ABC Science channel has made a documentary about this, where researchers show the power of music on the brain. And they've conducted these studies on dementia patients in a care home using music therapy to help...
Oh, in a care home?
In a care home, and more specifically dementia patients, because they've got memory issues, of course, a lot of confusion, which results in agitation.
I have to say that I've seen a video on Facebook, I don't know if you've seen it before, of I think it's a man or it's a woman that has dementia, but then has this piece of music. Well, it's not even a piece of music. I think he then from memory has listened to this piano piece and starts playing the piano like he's professional and he knows it.
Because it's all muscle memory, and then if you listen to certain music, that evokes a special memory in your brain.
So clever. Our brains, I think we don't give them enough credit.
We don't. They didn't use music therapy in the traditional sense. So you know how before I was saying that music therapy was through a live engagement interaction between between therapist and a client, so you know how you can play the instruments and all of that. They didn't use that sort of music therapy. So what they would do is they would put headphones on their heads.
Where else? Headphones
on their knees.
and then try to see if they could hear it.
Through their knees.
Yes. So they'd put the headphones on.
Yeah. So, but they would customise a playlist depending on the patient. Whether it's songs that they've listened to when they were younger or songs that just have a special meaning to them. So each patient would have a specific playlist, and they would use that as a form of music therapy.
Aww.
So think about these dementia patients, they're sitting in their chairs, they're not really doing anything, they look a bit like a shell.
Yeah, they sort of... Well, I have to just quickly say this because it's to do with... My granddad's in a home, and the other day, I went yesterday, sorry, this patient had dementia.
Yeah.
You know I was wearing that red headband, which I have actually worn on this before.
You're wearing a red headband?
Yesterday I was wearing like a red headband. You probably don't remember, but it's fine. And so I was walking out of this care home, and this dementia patient, obviously, she was like, oh, can I come with the lift to you? And I was like, yeah. She said, where are you going? She said, where are you going? I'm going home and I've got to get there quick. And I was like, all right, we'll go. She went, oh, I love your red hat, your pretty red hat. She goes, I'm not sure on the colour, but I thought you were going to change it up in this house. Like, just complete gobbledygook.
Yeah.
But it was just really sweet. Anyway, I just thought that was a little anecdote from
That's cute.
my little life.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Old people, not just dementia patients, but elderly people, they want that interaction.
Yeah,
because they don't
absolutely.
have
It's
any
so
of that.
important. Sorry, we digress.
It didn't seem. But this is based on
Where can we find this?
YouTube. I've got the links ready.
Thanks.
It's on my notes.
Thank you, because I'd like to watch it.
It's a really nice one. It's not too long. I think it's maybe just over 20 minutes long.
Nice. Oh, that's a nice, easy watch.
It's an easy watch. So yeah, they look like a shell. They don't look particularly happy, but once you put the headphones on their ears, they come alive. So this lady, so before they put the headphones on her, she was sitting next to her son, and they were asking her, "Who's this person next to you?" "Oh well, he's not my husband. He's definitely not my dad. Oh, I can't remember." And it's just really sad to watch that, and the son is just sitting there,
It's
you know,
just
quite
horrific, isn't it?
disheartened because he's seeing his mum not recognising him. And he goes, "I'm your son." And she said, "Oh my gosh, that's really awful. I couldn't even remember you." And,
It's horrific.
and obviously he was trying to comfort her, saying, "It's okay, it's life."
I just wish I hope there will be a time where the research will be going into it, that they can have some sort of...
A cure or a better sort of treatment.
Yeah, and just a better understanding of it. I know but I didn't realise how many different types of dementia there are.
There's quite a few. Alzheimer's.
But then there's like different lobes that,
It
like if you have,
affects.
if it affects one lobe, it means you've got a certain type, and if it affects the other lobe, you've got a different type. It's really, yeah.
Because different lobes in your brain have different functions, so it affects different cognitive abilities. But when she starts to listen to that music, she is dancing in the chair
Oh.
because she obviously remembers the time where she was young and was dancing. So she said in the
So
documentary.
did they say what song? Like, did they say, "Oh, that you'll know this song," or did they
No,
just?
they do play a little snippet of it
Oh.
when she's listening to it, and it's one of those
Yeah.
know, oldies.
Ding, ding, like the
Yeah.
ones they would have been dancing to in the musicals.
And she just seems really cheerful.
But that's the thing. Ultimately, you want to bring them that bit of joy again. Not that they haven't got it, but I think it's just naturally human if you see someone suddenly then light up and start dancing from what they were like before.
You know how I was saying that people do brain scans on patients or just participants who are listening to music? So the reporter of the documentary, she was put into a brain scan, and she was listening to music while they were scanning her brain. And they found that when she was listening to music, so they've played like a sort of a classical, slightly emotional piece of music, and then they played a song that she liked, which was by Train. And they found that when she was listening to the classical one, it tapped into the parts of her brain that's involved with emotion. And then with the other music, it tapped into the brain where it was involved with memory, because obviously she has sort of a meaningful link with that song. And you can see in that brain scan which parts of the brain have the
They
most
show you the brain
activity.
scans on the documentary.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So the red parts are basically where there's the most activity in the brain. So now that we've heard about the benefits of music therapy that it has on people, but have you heard about music therapy for dogs?
No, and tell me. Because I would love to hear it.
It's really cute. There's a lot of research on music therapy for dogs, but specifically those who live in kennels, shelters, or service dogs.
So both my dogs were from rescue shelters, so props. Tell me.
Yeah.
So it's based mainly on the ones that are maybe going through a bit of a traumatic time, being in a kennel, being in a rescue home. So ones that need kind of therapy like us humans do.
Yeah, because kennels and shelter dogs, they've had a pretty rough life. And then service dogs would be those who work in the police, or for the police, or for the military, which is really stressful.
Mega.
Think about what they have to do. You've got
And we think we're overworked and underpaid.
Yeah, these poor
Those dogs don't get paid.
No. They might get a home.
They're like that with their paw. Give me the money.
Give me the treat.
Yeah.
I want steak for lunch.
Yeah, they would. I'd give them steak.
Yeah, they deserve it. But you've got service dogs, such as police dogs, who search for drugs, explosive, and track down criminals and victims.
They're the ones you see at the airport and you're like, hello, and then you're like, no, you can't talk to him, he's a service dog. He might think you have drugs.
Exactly.
Don't say hello.
Don't say hello.
Yeah.
Otherwise he'll get you.
He'll get you.
And if you think about it, they're under a lot of stress, these dogs. Especially
They're going home, they're like, Christ, what a day. What a day.
oh, there's so many people these days.
Yeah. God, some of them absolutely stank.
And it's not even the marijuana. Under a lot of stress due to the environments they are exposed to whilst working. I think the military would be quite traumatic. I've read in a few studies and articles that military dogs, they get PTSD as well.
Oh, of course.
Bombings, everything.
They've still got little brains in there. It's not like they would just be immune to it, or they're probably thinking, what the actual bleep is going on?
Yeah. And the thing is, these dogs have been, well, service dogs specifically, they have been trained since they were puppies, so that's all they know in their whole entire lives. And they were trained using positive reinforcement, so, oh, good job, well done, treats and all of that. And they do not know how to separate their work from play. So they would just continue sniffing for things, tracking things down, and not stop because they think it's play. And they wouldn't stop until they found the thing that they need to
Oh God,
find.
so it's like constantly working.
And underpaid.
Oh, worked. No, but that's horrific. They must be absolutely knackered, the poor little pups.
Yeah, it's so sad. Right, moving on. So to give you a little depiction and a feel of what some of these dogs go through, I watched this video from the Orlando Canine Unit, and they were using a dog to track down a scent, specifically to track down a suspect. And the weather was hot and humid, and the dog was clearly getting overheated. It was panting heavily, and it looked exhausted, but it wasn't giving up. It was a good dog. It wanted to find
Don't tell me
that
it
scent.
died.
No, it doesn't die. It almost died. But their human partners, the officers, rushed them to the vets, and there's a whole team of vets, like 3-4 professionals.
Because he was literally overworked.
Yeah, he was panting, and he was so
I might
hot.
start doing that at work. Quickly!
I think they'll just take you to a mental asylum. There she goes again. Take her in a spray jacket.
That's what you're like with your lottery tickets, unless you get them panting. Take her to the petrol station to get a lottery ticket.
I actually want to buy one today.
I know, she did say that today. I was like, oh God.
67 million. That could be me.
That could be me.
So yeah, he was panting heavily. looked exhausted, and the whole team of vets tried to cool the poor dog down with alcohol and multiple ice packs. They were hosing him down with, I think it was cold water.
Why did they say alcohol? Why alcohol?
Because that's what it said in the documentary. I don't know what the alcohol does. Maybe he had open wounds as well. Perhaps.
Oh, maybe.
I wasn't too sure about that.
Go on, mate, have a beer, you'll be alright, calm down.
Bud Light. Carlsberg. Give you anything. So that's what some of these service dogs have to go through.
Yeah, that's horrific.
To find...
But it's really interesting you said about they don't know the difference between play and work.
If
they've been trained that way, that's just all they...
Yeah, but if that officer didn't stop it and take it to the vets, he would probably lost his life.
So sad.
So that's one of the dangers that they have to go through.
Give these dogs music therapy.
Music... That's where we're going to go to. We're moving on
We're in first gear.
Yeah, so all these music therapy studies are on dogs who are in rescue centres and in dog shelters, and they clearly have been stressful, awful situations. You know, abuse, living on the streets, the whole lot. So, Bowman et al. If you're not aware, or how do I say it? If you don't know what et al means,
I don't know what that means.
Don't worry, I will tell you.
I'll say this for the listeners that may not know. I'm saying, going, what the hell is she talking about? Because I don't. Imagine if I was like, yeah, for those of you who don't know, listen up.
Listen up, dummies.
I'll tell them.
Et al.
Tell us.
Et al. Essentially means and others, so it wasn't just
Bowman.
et
al.
Yeah, et al.
Yeah, but you need the gap et al.
I just
Adele.
link it.
Adele. Music.
This is the theme
Hello.
of music.
Is it me you're looking for?
Yeah, so Bowman et al means and others. So it wasn't just Bowman, he had other people to help him with the research.
Yeah.
On admission to rescue and rehoming centres, dogs are faced with a variety of short and long-term stresses, including novelty, spatial/social restriction, and increased noise levels, which is true because they're being locked up in a cage, really.
Yeah, and I
Not a
guess
lot of space.
No, and also the barking.
Barking because they're not on their own, they're not isolated, they're with other dogs who are probably more anxious or more traumatised.
It's like being in, it's not like prison, but you know when you watch prison documentaries and they're all like, they're like shouting in their cells.
A bit like that, but for dogs.
Yeah, like they're like, let me out, but rah, 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 rah.
Yeah. So think a bit about that. And
He's like, I'm off to see my therapist, mate. I'll be back in a couple of days. Oh, fair. Let me know how it is. I might sign up.
so the study showed that dogs in the non-music therapy exposure group and the one that is in the music therapy group spent significantly more time sitting/lying and silent and less time standing and barking when they are being played music.
Oh.
I think they used classical music or maybe different genres of music.
Well, a lot of people, I've got quite a few friends that if they leave their dogs home alone, they'll leave like the radio on,
Yeah.
or they'll leave like the TV on, which is very not environmentally friendly. Thank you very much, but
It's comforting for
it's
the dog.
comforting for them. They feel like they're not just like on their own.
So that study showed that they benefited from listening to music, so they weren't barking as much, they were just very chilled. And then another Bowman et al.
Et al.
In a 2017 research study, they used 5 different genres of music. They've got soft rock, Motown, pop, reggae and classical and they played all those different genres to the dogs. And the dogs were found to spend significantly more time lying and significantly less time standing when music was played, regardless of genre. So you could play a dog
Heavy
a bit
metal.
of reggae.
Or heavy metal. Where they're like screaming.
I will get onto that because there's a different study that shows that exposed dogs to heavy metal. But I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, I can't wait.
So going back to Bowman et al. Et al.
Et al. Et al. For those of you who don't know what that means, don't know, God.
So they also found that the heart rate variability, which is the physiological phenomenon of variation in the time interval between heartbeats, so just how the heartbeat changes. And it was significantly higher, which shows decreased stress, when dogs were played soft rock and reggae, with a lesser effect observed when Motown, pop and classical genres were played. So these dogs loved their soft rock and reggae.
That was their like favourites.
Yeah, that was their jam.
That was their jam. How funny. I can see reggae is quite... But also, I think there's something to do with like the beat of the music. If it's got like a...
It's quite a slow one.
Yeah,
It's
it would just sort of chill you out.
a bit of plodding along.
Whereas if you listen to...
Or heavy metal.
Like, yeah, you'd be like, help! Your heart would be like that. I'd start panting, definitely.
And then another study, Kogan et al., which was conducted in 2012. They tested this on dogs who are in kennels, but there were dogs who are in there for short periods of time. But even then, it's quite stressful for a dog to go through that. And they were saying they were under continual stress, with a lot of anxiety.
Poor little pops.
Of course. The study investigated the impact of music, so they used classical, heavy metal, and specifically designed / altered classical. So they just edited a bit of classical. And they showed the impact of those genres on activity level, vocalization, and body shaking. And they used 117 kennelled dogs. And the results suggest that classical music leads to kennel dogs spending more time sleeping and less time vocalizing than when exposed to other music types or no music. And then we're going to get to the heavy metal music.
Give it to me, baby.
Love it.
Love it. I love that you came in with that because I was like, if you don't know what that is, that's weird for me to go.
Now all the girlies here are pretty fly for a white
White guy.
Sorry.
Sorry, everyone.
We'll probably cut that out. So heavy metal music compared with other music genres appears to increase body shaking. So these poor
Well, they'd be
dogs,
like, give it to me, baby.
I think they're shaking in fear because they're like, what is this
Fudge.
heavy metal music? They're just
They're like that.
please stop! Please stop the heavy metal!
Oh my god! But then that is kind of given. Why would you need listen to this et al. And whoever those others were? Don't put those dogs through any more stress.
Yeah. So the body shaking is suggestive of nervousness.
No. It means
All
they're
the
calm.
screaming.
It means they're calm and relaxed. Surely.
So that's what they found.
Well done. What a great study.
And a really nice outcome of this study is the Madrid police force has started using music therapy for their service dogs.
Oh.
Because one of the officers read about it on an article or something, and they tried using music therapy on their service dogs. So when
That's sweet.
when they weren't listening to music, they were just jumping about because they're so excited. They're like, oh yeah, let me sniff another
Marijuana.
item. Yeah. So they were jumping about, literally looking like they're doing parkour.
Parkour.
Yeah, they were very hyperactive and very excited. But when the classical music was playing, they calmed down. They were lying on the floor. They looked like they were about to fall asleep.
Oh, it's like yoga.
Why did you say it like that? Yoga.
Like yoga. Love bit of yoga.
He started to sound like Amy Winehouse.
Yeah. Slowly, I just. No, that's really offensive. Cut that out. Cut that out.
I will cut that out.
Thanks.
Yeah, that is my little music therapy theme for this
Look at
week.
you with all your links.
I've got my links.
Ready
I'm
to
ready. All I need to do is copy and paste it on our website. I think we could.
23 followers. Let me know what you think. If you think, or you can put it on Twitch as well. Maybe
And
our
all of them are
friends.
Zoe's friends.
Woo! No, they're not. There's some like. It's just funny the people that like promote it on.
Yeah.
Promote it on. No thanks. We're
Just
okay.
spamming us.
Yeah. Leave us alone.
I think it'd be quite nice if we post on our social media pictures of
Oh, we could take one.
things
after
that we've talked about on the pod.
this. Yeah.
So,
So like
dogs.
dogs, Amy Winehouse, social dilemma, don't with cats.
Yes.
Morticians. And what was yours first week?
Cashew
nuts.
workers.
So yeah, that's also if you tuned in, and those are things we've talked about in our previous ones. If you want to check them out, check
All
them
on
out. Go on.
Spotify.
But sorry, I meant to say that's really heartwarming and really sweet, and that's made me feel really good.
I wanted a more uplifting.
That's what my goal is. Well, talking of which, let's do our next week topic. I bet it's like the most depressing story you can find, and I'll be like, yes, my week. No, I want to do something uplifting. Oh, I picked last week, so you picked this week.
Okay. I forgot to use the profanity preventers again.
Ah,
What a shame. ASMR.
help! Zoe, are you okay?
She needs to be cooled down.
Why are
with
you picking?
alcohol. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I want to shake.
Oh, you want to shake? Who
Sorry.
picked it? Was it?
I picked it last week.
Okay, right.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I think you did.
Did you take the one out because remember it was social media good and bad?
Again.
Oh.
My God. It's Wagamamas.
Okay.
Can I just say, I hate Wagamamas. Yes.
There's not a lot of things really likes in this world, apart from
Food.
lottery tickets
Food and lottery tickets.
and money.
Yes, I do like my money.
Good.
Right.
So tune in next week for the topic of Wagamamas. See you next time, folks.
Bye.
Bye.